My back. What we have here is a matter of humiliation and human kindness. Dumbbells. You leave me no other choice. You're welcome.
You're slowing down. Come on, cowboy. Bring it.
Corey, thank you for being on the program. I got to ask you, this is my entire timeline now, speculation about the January 6th pipe bomber. I want to be careful here, right? Nobody's been named and no federal sources have come forward and said we have the person, but it just stands to reason that this individual must be caught at some point. Your take, Corey.
Well, Benny, a couple things, right? When it came to going after the January 6th, quote unquote, rioters, the federal government used every resource at their disposal, including bank records, pinging cell phones, and found people who were anywhere within a geographic location of probably 3 miles of the Capitol that day, and then paid them personal visits. You're telling me we couldn't ping the same cell phone area? We don't have cameras in these locations. We've got one random video footage of this person waving to the car as it goes by, and we can't find out who this is. Look, Benny, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't have a tinfoil hat, but I think there is something much deeper to this. And I think somebody in the government probably knows who this actually is.
Do you believe that based on the available evidence that this individual was a member of the MAGA movement, Corey?
Look, I find that very hard to believe. I just don't believe that at all, Benny. Listen, as you know, by and large, MAGA people, when they go and they express their First Amendment rights, they clean up after themselves. They're very courteous, as you know. They dress nicely most of the time. They're passionate about what they believe in. But by and large, what we have seen, particularly against our law enforcement community, is the far left and the radicals and the socialists and those people that are perpetrating the crimes against our law enforcement and the ones who are really doing the most damage. We've seen that now time and time again.
So you're obviously a very close advisor to Homeland Security, and it's been fascinating to see the incredible work that department has done. I've never seen it more effective. I agree, I think, with the vast majority of everyone in the country in saying, let's find this terrorist, right? This person that planted bombs is a terrorist. And sure, they're associated with January 6th. Go for it, right? I think all of MAGA would, in fact, be in favor of identifying this individual and finding out what the hell they were doing, because this isn't the behavior of MAGA. What's the status, Corey? Please.
Look, unfortunately, and I don't say that with any disrespect, this is an FBI-led investigation. Okay, these, prior to Kash Patel coming, right? These are the same, and I'll use the term criminals, Comey, right? Clapper, Brennan, the triumvirate of geniuses, as we call them, who's supposed to be running our national security apparatus. And they go and raid Mar-a-Lago so they can go through, the president's stuff. And they throw these fake top secret papers on the floor that didn't mean anything, right? So listen, the FBI is finally getting back on course. Kash Patel has done an amazing job to get these guys back on mission. I don't know the specifics of this particular case, but I have full faith in the director to make sure that he is putting the right people on this, and we will get to a resolution. We will find the terrorists. I can tell you from the Department of Homeland Security side, as we go out and we arrest criminals, looking at the worst of the worst, we continue to arrest people who are known or suspected terrorists. We know that the Biden administration let known or suspected terrorists come across the border basically unfettered. So as we go out every day and arrest these bad hombres, as we call them, these people who shouldn't be in this country legally, we know some of them are terrorists. We know they're gang members. Let's get them all off the street and make our country safer.
Just one final question on this, Corey. Since you were a former police officer and you've done decades, correct, in police service, how plausible is it that somebody could create a sophisticated weapon like a pipe bomb? Again, if you just Google, don't Google how to make a pipe bomb, but just by doing that, you get a government record, right? And you get put on a watch list. Like, you shouldn't be actively searching for how to make a pipe bomb. People don't know how to do that. But then to make one and leave zero DNA evidence, to leave no evidence at all, it seems utterly confounding to me that there's never been a DNA match here.
Well, and it's also the nation's capital. How many CCTV cameras are there
Yes.
around there? How many places, are we protecting? It has our most sacred assets. And I mean that with admiration, right? Our great monuments, our great leaders work there every day. And you're telling me we can't find one person because we've only got one grainy, there was no Ring doorbells that were actually in operation that day over there. I mean, every time you see a terrible, horrific event like a UPS plane goes down and there's 7,000 live photos of it. We've got this person placing a pipe bomb and we can't have any video evidence. We don't have any DNA evidence. The whole thing to me seems questionable at best. And I think Kash Patel will get to the bottom of this.
All right. We have full confidence. We have a ton more from this report. We have limited time with Corey. And so I wanted to ask about the government shutdown. Obviously, Democrats have shut down the government in order to give more freebies to criminal aliens so that they can try and maintain power. Nonetheless, that's got to be put a enormous amount of stress on the Department of Homeland Security and the men who stand in the gap to keep our nation safe. Can you comment on what this is doing to the capacities for DHS?
Yeah, people have seen at the airports. Don't forget, under Homeland Security is the Transportation Security Administration. Those individuals tasked with scanning and screening all the individuals and packages that go on our airplanes around America. Those men and women have been working without paycheck now for 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And so, what we're seeing is a higher call out rate. We're seeing people who can't put food on their tables. The Democrats have the ability to end this very quickly. There's 5 Democrats is all it takes to open this up, pass a clean CR, and let's get the government funded again. But Benny, we are going to potentially have something significant happen because the Democrats refuse to allow our men and women to go and get paid to keep us safe and secure. We have been blessed because Congress gave us some money to pay the men and women of law enforcement, our ICE agents, our CBP officers, our Coast Guard are still being paid. But by and large, right, the men and women who work for the federal government are either on furlough, the government is closed, but most importantly is those TSA agents who are checking the bags every day to making sure that we're safe and secure. And don't forget, the Department of Homeland Security grew out of the horrific events of 9/11 because we had security lapses. And so we want to make sure that those men and women who are on the front lines are being compensated properly. And it is incumbent on the Democrats to end this Schumer shutdown and get the government back open.
When you say something significant happens, I mean, at some level, you witness the Democrats' activity towards and their response towards President Trump getting shot in the head, Charlie Kirk getting shot in the head, towards electing a man who says he wants to murder Republicans and murder Republican children. And you got to ask, what won't these people do for power? And, I've been flying the last couple of days, man. It's a nightmare. 2-3 hour delays. It's been
hold on. Benny, I gotta stop you, Benny. You were on Trump Force One. I saw the pictures. Okay, there's no delay on the plane.
That was one trip.
For 1 second, I saw you on the beautiful jet. The world's
when I have Trump Force One money, you will never fly commercial again. I assure you. Okay, I have Trump Force One money. You can come on the plane anytime. I don't got that, so I'm flying coach to New York this morning, New York to DC this morning, and it was you could tell people were threadbare. I guess my question is, you're implying that Democrats are wantonly inviting some type of horrible disaster that could take American lives.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying they are purposefully keeping the men and women who are paid to keep us safe every day from getting their paychecks. And what we're seeing is longer lines at the airports. We're seeing more call outs from the transportation security officers because they're not getting paid to do their jobs for over a month now. And so what that does mean is that, there is more opportunity to impact people's lives negatively by holding them longer at these airports to making their lives more difficult. Listen, safety is always going to be paramount, but it's going to take longer to get through these airport lines. It's going to cause more people to go slower and cause more friction in our economy. The Democrats can resolve this very, very quickly by casting a vote today to open the government. And we're asking them to do that so those men and women on the front line can be paid so they're continuing to keep us safe every single day. It's unfair that they have to do their jobs every day without getting paid.
I know that you're up against a hard out, Corey, but I have one more question for you. I got to ask on Zorhan Mandami, who ran, who in his victory speech called out ICE specifically, called out your agency, said that they're not welcome in the city of New York, America's largest city. It was actually, immigrant populations and very new New Yorkers, right? People who'd been there less than 5 years that elected Zoran Mandami. And many of them have given interviews about how it is actually the wanton increase of immigration to New York as to why they voted for this individual. So he sort of threw the gauntlet down at you and your agency. What is your response to Zoran Mandami?
Our response is the men and women of ICE and CBP will continue to do their jobs every single day, regardless of these left-wing radical politicians who think that people should be in this country illegally, taking jobs away from Americans, committing crimes against Americans. It will not be tolerated under the Trump administration. We have seen 2.6 million people already extracted from this country, either voluntarily through the CBP Home app or through our arrests and deportations. That will only continue to increase. But Zohan Mandani and Pritzker and all these guys who probably have their own security details, who live behind big giant walls with big beautiful fences, right, are the hypocrites that America sees every day. This president, this Secretary Noem, is going to do everything they can to keep this country safe. And that means extracting illegal people who are in this country when they shouldn't be, and making sure that the Americans get put first for a change.
Yeah. Are you going to be ramping up these efforts? Should we expect to see
We're not going to ramp down. I will promise you that. You will continue to see that we will be full force. And you have seen what we've been able to do in Los Angeles, in Chicago, in Memphis, in Washington, D.C., across this country to make these communities safer. With or without the support of elected officials, President Trump will go there and make these communities better for everybody.
All right. Well, Corey Lewandowski, special advisor to the President of the United States, Department of Homeland Security, the man responsible for a 2016 and 2024 presidential victory. And happy anniversary to that victory, Corey. I know that was just the 1 year anniversary 24 hours ago. Got to be a happy day for you.
It sure was. Thanks, Benny. Have a great day.
Godspeed, sir.